friends, welcome to Beautifully Bookish Bethany, where I have new videos every week about books and the geeky mom lifestyle. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about all the books I plan to read in January 2021. Wow, 2020 is almost over, which is super exciting. So I have lots of plans for my 2021 TBR, and we are kicking things off with a, unsurprisingly ambitious TBR. Do I always follow my TBRs to the letter? No, I don't. Some of these are books that I will definitely be reading for review or for other things. Other things I'm just hoping to get to in the coming month. So let's go ahead and dive in, and I will share with you all the books that I am planning on probably reading in January. As always, first up is the pick for my Patreon book club. Every month my patrons get a chance to vote on a book that we read together, and we have a different genre theme every month. For 2021, the genres are pre-planned, which is exciting. I don't have to think too hard about it. And for January, we are reading two things. We're reading a graphic novel and a work of translated fiction. So my patrons had the chance to vote on both of those, and we are reading two things. First up, for a graphic novel, we're going to be reading Moonstruck by Grace Ellis and Shay Beagle. This is volume 1, Magic to Brew. It looks super adorable. It's like a cute little romantic fantasy graphic novel. It's got like a queer romance and friendship, and it looks super cute and adorable. So we're going to be reading that. And then for our translated pick, we will be reading A Winter's Promise by Christelle Dabos. This was translated from French. It's the first book in a best-selling French YA fantasy series that sounds really interesting. It's another one that's been on my TBR for quite a while, and I'm excited to get to it. So we will be reading those two things together in January and doing a live show at the end of the month. Then every month my patrons are entered into a raffle where the winner gets to select a book from my TBR that they would like to see me read and review. For January, the winner was Adriana, and the book that she wanted to see me read was Jade City by Fonda Lee, which I am so excited she picked this. I've been wanting to read this for a while. I've wanted an excuse to read it. I also actually, because I think I got it on sale, I own the physical book and I own the audiobook, which is great, so I'll probably read them together. Everybody seems to love this. I've not heard almost anything bad about the series, and I want to see what all the hype is about. I know it's some kind of a fantasy. It says it's like set in Hong Kong with gangster families and lots of political intrigue. I like political intrigue. The gangster thing wouldn't normally draw me in, but again, everybody that I know seems to love this book. So I'm going to be reading it in January. Then I have a buddy read planned, which is exciting. I'm going to be doing a buddy read with Charles Books on Stereo, and we're going to be reading These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is a YA debut that, again, I'm hearing nothing but good things about. It's a fantasy retelling of Romeo and Juliet set in a magical version of 1920s Shanghai, I think, and it sounds like it's going to be great. I just hear so much good stuff about it. I love the cover. It was a Book of the Month Club pick that I grabbed, so we will be reading that book together in January. Another buddy read that I'm either going to read in January or February, or maybe kind of between the two, but I'm going to put it on the TBR for this month, is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in a series that everybody seems to really love. It's a fantasy romance that they're recommending for fans of Sarah J. Maas. This was very kindly sent to me as a holiday gift from my friend Amanda at the Naughty Librarian, and she and my other friend Leanna have this book club that they do together called Blades and Bodice Rippers Book Club, where they alternate between fantasy and romance books, and this is their pick, I think, for February, and they invited me to be a guest, so there might be others as well, but I might be guest starring on their live stream talking about this, but I'm excited about it. I feel like I'm probably going to breeze through it, and I kind of want to read it sooner than later, so I'm putting it on my January TBR, but I think the live show is in February, if I'm not mistaken. Next, I have two physical books that were sent to me for review that I'm planning on reading. There may be others that join this I think there's like one other I have coming that I'll be reading, but I don't have a copy yet. But I have The Girl from Shadow Springs by Ellie Cipher. This was very kindly sent to me from the author, who's also a viewer of the channel. And this sounds awesome. It is her YA debut coming out through Simon & Schuster in February. It says it is The Revenant meets True Grit with a magical twist in this thrilling and atmospheric debut fantasy about two teens who must brave a frozen wasteland and the foes within it to save their loved ones and uncover a deadly secret. I know my friend Mara from Books Like Whoa also had a copy and read it and said the writing's really nice and she thinks I'll enjoy it, so I'm definitely looking forward to this. The perfect wintry book to be reading in January. And then from Tor, I'm going to be reading Winter's Orbit by Everina Maxwell. This also comes out in February and I think it's a debut. It's being pitched as Ancillary Justice meets Red, White, and Royal Blue. So it is a queer sci-fi romance with political machinations set in space. It seems like it's going to be great, so I will be reading that. Then for a few books I might get to in January, I want to read Sister Outsider by Audre Lorde. This is one of my classics I'm hoping to read in 2021, so why not start off on a good foot? This is supposed to be really great. It's not super long, so hopefully I can get to this in January. I also, from a friend, was sent a copy of a book coming out in February that I'm kind of interested in that I want to give a try. This is Amelia Unabridged by Ashley Schumacher. It's got magical realism elements to it, but it's a YA book dealing with grief and kind of coming of age story, so one that I will try out. And then, if my library hold comes through, I may be reading The Burning God by R.F. Kuang. I'm waiting for my audiobook so I can like read along and also listen to the audio if I want to. Man, I'm like nervous and excited to finish the series. I want to finish it, but also I know it's gonna rip my heart out. So that may be happening in January. And then for another series conclusion that also probably would rip my heart out that I might be reading is Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir, the final book in the Amber and the Ashes series. We'll see. We'll see if I can do it. So those are kind of the books that I'm like, I may read these in January. We'll see. And then finally, I have a bunch of e-arcs from NetGalley that I'm hoping to get to. I have The Gilded Ones by Nominoforna, which has been on my TBR for like a year, but it got pushed back, and so I didn't review it yet. But I do still have the e-arc, and I'm hoping to read it. This is a debut YA fantasy I've been excited about for such a long time, it feels like. I know this is inspired by the author's experience being a wartime refugee, but the premise of this sounds amazing. It follows a teen girl who is supposed to go through this ceremony to see if her blood runs red or gold to stay in her village, but it's the wrong colors, so she has to enter this military service or something. I hear it's really great, so I'm excited to read that one. Then I have a historical romance called A Lady's Formula for Love by Elizabeth Everett. This looks really fun. It's a historical romantic comedy with a lady scientist, which I am always here for. I am also going to be reading Payback by Kristen Simmons. This is the final book in the Vale Hall series, which I've been really into. It's this interesting YA trilogy about a secret school for con artists. It's got lots of twists and turns. The second book was really fantastic, and I'm excited to see how the story finishes out. Then I have a YA romance. This is Love is a Revolution by Renee Watson. The cover looks really cute. I don't know a whole lot about this, but I know when I read about it, it looked interesting, and this is a February release and I'm hoping to get to in January. I've also got The Echo Wife by Sarah Gailey. This is one of my most anticipated kind of sci-fi thrillers that looks really interesting. It's about a woman who has a clone of herself, and her husband is having an affair with the clone, and then the husband dies. And yeah, like the premise is weird, but super interesting. And then the last one I'll mention here is another historical romance. This is Waiting for a Scot Like You by Eva Lee. It's the third book in the Union of the Rake series, which I am absolutely loving. They're really fun, steamy historical romances that are loosely inspired by 80s teen movies. I've loved both of the first two books. The third one, I don't even know much about it except that it's following another side character from the earlier books, and I feel like I'm probably gonna love it. There are a couple of other things that I may or may not get to. We'll see, like things are always a little bit in flux, but hopefully that gives you a good idea of the books that I am hoping to get to in January. Talk to me in the comments down below. Let me know any of your thoughts or feelings on any of the books that I talked about today. And for your question of the day, let me know, what are your reading plans in January? Do you have series that you're wanting to finish, things you want to catch up on, things you're trying to review? Let me know kind of what your plans are going into the new year. Talk to me in the comments down below. If you guys like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you want to see more, and if you want to support the work of the channel, check out the Patreon linked in the video description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.